All right, that music was super cheesy.
That was intense.
How you doing?
I was nodding to it for a second there. I was like, oh, it just keeps going. Just dun 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 dun. Did you stay up all last week?
Yeah, I think the night of our call I was up late. I don't remember how late, but yeah, I was up late.
You can't handle any amount of caffeine.
Well, it's funny because today I've been up since 4 a.m.
Why?
I just wake up. When I wake up,
Oh,
like I was telling my massage therapist this morning that it's like most people, they wake up and then there's like this, we'll call it the defrost period,
sure.
where like you slowly kind of come to life. And for me, it was like, or the way I wake up is I wake up and I'm like just completely awake. And even if I wanted to tell my mind to go back to sleep, it's like I can't. So for me, when I wake up, I'm just like awake.
Has it
So
always been that way?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
find myself drifting towards that. I'm getting there.
And I go through cycles where like sometimes I'll go a couple of months where my body or my mind will let me sleep till like 7 o'clock. And then other times I wake up at like 4:30 for like 3 or 4 months at a time. But it's like it's not a bad thing. Like I really enjoy that time when in the morning where everybody's sleeping. So this morning I did a bunch of design work and I had to leave the house by 7:30 anyways. So it just flowed really well. So I don't mind it. And I enjoy afternoon naps as well. So I'll take
You take naps.
if I feel drawn to it. Like in the summertime here, like I'll lay out on the patio and I'll just take a nap in the sun and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Is it getting really cold there?
It was 25 Celsius this weekend.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go. I'm doing the conversion for you now.
Okay.
77.
Okay. Mine was 95, so put that in there for you. 95.
35. Yeah, that's hot.
For October.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like, okay, so then like you're going to bed at 8 o'clock, or what time do you go to bed?
No, I still go to bed.
This
like
is what bothers me.
So last night at 7 o'clock. So yesterday afternoon, I picked all the hot peppers in the garden, and I picked like 16 pounds of hot peppers. And then last night I chopped them all up, cleaned them, chopped them up, and then made candied jalapenos. They're not all jalapenos, but the recipe's called candied jalapenos.
Okay.
And then canned them all. So by the time I got to bed, it was like 11.
That's a busy night. Yeah, I think I want to wake up before like 9 o'clock is when I wake up. I wake up now. This is when I roll out of bed. I'm like, oh, I don't ever have to set an alarm.
I've already,
just because I wake up at 9.
Yeah, I've been up since 4. I've already like been to the lumber yard to like buy lumber. I went for a massage. Like I've got like I'm way ahead of you today.
Yeah, I made coffee.
Cool. So what are we going to talk about today? Hello to everybody who's tuning in live.
Yeah, did you see how many people saw the repeat?
No,
well, I mean, so I reposted. I mean, so my goodness, there was so many people watched it. That was great.
Yeah, I love it, and all the feedback was good too. So my worry is that people were going to think we were boring, but everybody I talked to said no, that we have great chemistry, and that that it
I think the only part where I lost the chemistry is I started reading the chat. Like if you catch me over here, suddenly the conversation drops off.
Yeah, well, I forgot to send a message out to the mailing list about today's call, so we're going to probably have less people. But hey, Nick, hey, Sarah, hey, Backyard Buddha, Dante.
What do you think the number one like most manifested like desire is?
Well, like money.
Obviously. If you money and love. Money and love. See, yeah. See, I could never connect with the loved ones. When I would make the animated like love,
you're just cold. You're just cold-hearted.
Is it that, or is it like? I think it's always like Okay, money was easy because it's like you could
But
always have more. I feel like
it's actually the opposite of what I said, because somebody who's got lots of money isn't concerned about manifesting money, right?
right,
So
right,
the idea of trying to manifest anything is about filling a void.
right. And so, yeah, like, well, I wonder about that, like, because it doesn't seem like there's enough money. Like, I would imagine you would just keep going, going, going.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
not that way.
it's everybody's approach to money or perception of money is based on what they got going on in their brain, right? It's all mindset. So like I know people who make millions and millions of dollars every year,
Sure.
and you still need to pull their teeth to pay the $500 a year they need to pay to get the the road plowed,
Oh,
right? So it's like money's it's such a weird thing, and the whole human kind of, if you could look at the human race under a microscope, I
yeah.
would say like money is one of the most fascinating topics.
Well, let's go into it then. So let's say you're starting fresh. I don't know
Like
what
fresh as
happens.
in like you just come out of the birth canal fresh.
Let's go beyond that. But let's say like starting from zero. You get dropped off somewhere, you know no one, you know nothing, you can talk to whatever. What is it? What is your initial step? Knowing what you know, you get all your
Well,
knowledge.
okay, so let's look at what the average person would probably do.
Okay, great.
So the average person approach to that scenario is, I need money for survival, right?
Yeah.
Because that's part of our programming is survival for obvious reasons. So survival equals money as the path to survival is where our mind goes, and then it's how do I make money so that I can survive by buying food, shelter, water, whatever.
Right.
That's kind of that's we'll call that the current paradigm, because that's where 99.99% of people are. The new paradigm, or the expanded paradigm, or the evolved place of where we are going, and where some of us are, is a place where it's understanding that reality is a vibrational place, and at any given moment you're either tuning to lack slash
Right.
absence, or overflow and abundance. And those frequencies exist on all topics. So if you're in the vibrational frequency of overflow and abundance, and you're off the topic of money,
Mm,
and you're in the receptive mode, then everything you need is going to continually show up. And people who listen to Bashar, I've heard Bashar say that his society doesn't have currency, doesn't have money, because everybody lives off of the mechanism of synchronicity. And that's kind of the same thing. When you're living in that pure state of abundance and overflow and allowance, everything you need keeps showing up. The only reason something doesn't show up is because you're pinching off the receptivity on that topic.
right. So even though it feels like you're doing the wrong thing, you're not trying hard enough, or you're not even, working hard enough you're not getting after it, right? It's doing its thing. So that's the hardest thing, right? You were trained, and like you said, old paradigm, you're trained to, well, in my case, manual labor. Go trade
Yeah,
effort
you
for
you
money.
you have to make it happen, right? There is
Right.
no,
Right.
the traditional paradigm is there's no source, there's no inner being, there's nothing beyond what you can see and taste and touch and feel in the physical. And that's
Right.
how we were all raised, and that's dead wrong, right? But it's so ingrained in how we operate in our day to day that breaking that mold, is not something that happens overnight for most people.
Right. So for you, is it like, is there still like, oh, I do want X number of $1 million, or it's like just whatever now?
Now it's just like now moment, present moment,
Right.
what's relevant to me now, and what are my impulses. That's it.
Right. And to allow whatever's
Yeah.
happening. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So to give you an example, right now I'm building a cedar sauna in the backyard.
Yeah.
And inside of a cedar sauna, the ideal wood to use is what they call clear cedar, which is wood that has no knots in it.
Oh, okay, sure.
When you shop around online, clear cedar is about $15 a foot.
Sure.
Okay. 5 minutes from here, there's a lumber yard I stopped in. They've got a bunch of, nobody around here wants that. They have a bunch of it sitting in a corner at $2 a foot.
Really?
Right. So I see your mind spinning. Oh, what can I do with that?
Yeah. I got to travel up there.
But it's an example of like, somebody's default is, oh, this is $15 a foot. How do I manifest $15 a foot worth of money that I need to buy this?
Right.
But manifesting the exact same thing at like less than 10% of the cost or whatever the difference is just as good.
So if you were able to just drop, and it sounds like what you've done, right? You just drop the anticipation of that, or the expectation of it, right? It's just, it flows in or it doesn't, and it doesn't matter.
Abraham-Hicks says things are always working out for me.
Sure.
And I kind of don't like that statement, because to me that's almost sounds like a pessimistic statement. It's
really?
almost like I don't just want things to work out. I want things to kick ass. I want things to be amazing. Right? To me, working out is like a low standard. Right?
Yeah, that's got to just be a personality thing. For me, it's great.
Yeah.
Working out means like, oh, I don't have to worry then.
Yeah, but you don't want things better than working out?
Fine, but it's like the stress of the things not working out is my drive. That is my primary drive. Like, oh shit, it's gonna fail, right? If it's gonna fail, then that. And so if I feel like it's just gonna work out,
even failure is working out.
Sure.
Right? Because the failure, if we're experiencing it, is still a match to our vibration. It's still what we need to experience for our expansion.
Right.
But where I was getting at with that statement is, same thing goes with money, right? All right, I want to pay $50 a foot for some wood.
Right.
If I don't have it in my bank account, man, no big deal. It'll find its way to me somehow, whether money shows up or some dude on the street has a bunch of leftover wood, he throws in his garbage and I come across it and find it.
Right. So, but like you said, you do want the more. You are, that's where you were getting before I interrupted you.
But the more shifts as you evolve, right? Okay. So old paradigm more is bigger house, faster car, more money, more, more physical outside, external to me stuff, right? New paradigm, more evolved, is the more is about more feeling good, more satisfaction, more deliciousness, more impulse, right? More excitement.
And it never, like, does it ever feel bad for you? I know I talked about it last week, but I feel like even in that, there's like this like late night regret. Maybe I need to wake up at 4:30 a.m. because I like get in my head after 11 o'clock and it's like, oh, what did I do? Like I watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers yesterday. It was great.
I've never seen that.
It's great. It was awesome. And then it's like, oh, maybe I should have done other things. Maybe I should have done that. But until that point, until that thought.
But why? Why would you think that thought?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like a virus, I guess. That was the Invasion of the Body Snatchers for me.
And I'm sure you're not, you're not the only one that has those thoughts, for sure.
Sure.
Right? And we'll call it maybe regret.
Whatever.
But I would say regret is the perception you've done something wrong.
Right.
But in reality, physical reality is one big exploration. It's a science experiment.
Right.
So like you can't get an exploration wrong. An exploration is meant to be explored. You can't screw it up.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing she says, right? You can't mess this up. And it's wild to think about, like, because you can mess it up and all these.
But can or can't, that's the perception of the ego. That's the ego.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah. But that is the training, right? That is what my kids pass or fail their test, their quiz. They pass or fail it. There is a grading to it.
Yeah.
So you have to drop the grade.
And maybe the failure is the best possible thing that could happen, because that's going to
Yeah.
teach them something that they wouldn't have learned if they would have passed.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Okay, that was too much. I'm curious what what everyone else is wanting, and maybe it is money, but maybe the one or two or three things that they do want.
Well,
But I
there's
think
what
it's such a go ahead.
but there's what people consciously want. So
Sure,
there's what they think they want, and
sure.
then there's what they really want.
Mm.
And oftentimes those are two very different things.
Is what they really want always just the feeling? Is it always just the emotion?
Yes, whether they realize it or not.
Okay. Is sometimes what they really want the pool or the sauna?
At an external level, that's what they want. Yes. So
Okay.
for me, here's this. I don't know if I talked about the sauna last week on the call or not. Maybe in the collective
Talk
I
again.
talked. But we did an Airbnb 3 weeks ago, I think,
Okay.
and there was a sauna there. And Anik was all over the sauna. She was like, "This is the best thing in the world. I want one." And like I was maybe 50% sold. And then I started doing some research about them, and like the health benefits are absolutely insane. Right? Like I saw somebody on a YouTube video yesterday, Alex something Friedman or something. Is that a anyways, it was a big channel. And the guy being
Lex
interviewed,
Friedman.
Lex Freeman, yeah. And the guy being interviewed said that if you do 3 times, the research shows that if you go in a sauna 3 times a week for 30 minutes, you
Mhm.
reduce your risk of heart disease by 25%. If you do
It's bigger than
four
that.
4 times a week is 50%.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's insane.
all-cause mortality. That's a Joe Rogan thing, is he always talks about all-cause mortality. So in Sweden or Stockholm or wherever they did the test at.
Yeah,
It was
probably.
Finland. Okay, yeah. And so I mean, I assume that's the culture up there, is hot and cold stuff. Sauna,
Yeah, I think
cold plunge.
the cold aspect is less researched.
Okay.
They don't know. It hasn't been a thing for long enough for them to really have good scientific evidence like they do for saunas. But there's obviously something for the cold plunges too.
Think of that. 40% less. I mean, does that mean I live 40% longer? That would be great.
Well, I mean, look at this, the heart disease statistics in the
Yeah, it's
States.
crazy.
Imagine if everybody in the States was not that it would be possible, but imagine if everybody in the States was using saunas.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So with something like that,
okay,
you don't even feel guilty about not even
it's,
guilt. Maybe guilty is not the right word.
It's like,
If
but
you didn't have the money for the sauna and the sauna's coming up, you'll just
hey, if I get a
charge
sauna,
it,
great.
I
If I don't,
suppose.
like,
Oh,
if it's exciting, I'll daydream about it. I'll think about it. I'll play with the idea of it. But like, you know, it's like that path of highest excitement. Take things as far as you can take them, right? Or how does Bashar say it?
yeah, I don't
Path
know.
of highest excitement is following your highest excitement, detached from outcome, and taking action on it as far as you can take it.
Wait,
Right?
you gotta say that again. That blew over my head. Yeah, because I don't listen to Bashar. That felt mucky.
And that was total paraphrase.
No, I know, you gotta paraphrase it. Say it in your words. I
So
couldn't connect with that.
yeah, so basically it's about, he says the key to like an abundant reality is, of everything you have available to you in every given moment, you find the one thing that's of highest excitement,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's what you do.
Even if that so there is to me an anxiety along with excitement, right? I feel
Yeah,
like those are interchangeable for me.
they are, because anxiety and excitement are actually the same energy
Sure.
coming through,
Okay.
and based on how our mind filters it, it turns into either anxiety or excitement.
Okay. So you can
Not
just
not for
decide. You
all
can make a choice.
not for all anxiety. Some anxiety is subconscious programming that triggers fear.
Okay.
But like things like, if you're gonna go give a talk, if part of you feels excited and part of you feels anxious, it might actually be all excitement. You're just filtering that excitement into anxiety.
Yeah. So I mean, I had it this morning, right? I knew I was going live with you, and there was a sense of I interpreted it as excitement to me, but
Yeah, totally.
yeah. Okay. So that's it. Just for I want love. You just get in that highest vibration. Then you're saying you get
I mean, that goes back to we'll call it materialization.
sure,
And it's about
which I think
understanding.
people do want.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But you gotta not pinch off. Like if something's not showing up, it's because in some way you're practicing something that's pinching it off. Right. And for some people, it could be vibrational in terms of their emotion. So if they're feeling unlovable,
Mm,
then you can't be at the vibration of unlovable and at the same time manifest a partner that makes you feel loved, right? Or
right.
another example is um, if you're practicing lack vibration on that topic. So like
Yeah.
one thing, actually they're married now. One exercise I quickly gave one of my relationship clients, and he ended up this actually worked. I told him go on your phone,
Okay.
and this is when he was single. I said go on your phone and whoever calls you the most, maybe it's your mom or whatever,
Mhm.
go to them in the contact list and change the words mom to my girlfriend. So that
Okay.
every time your phone rings and you pick it up, it says my girlfriend. And you just sit a few seconds in that vibration. Oh, I have a girlfriend and she's calling me right now.
All
Right.
right.
And literally within 2 months of doing that, he manifested a girlfriend. And then 2 years later, they were married.
That's great. Uh, and so gosh, it's so wonderful. Like I want to like have a follow-up like problem to it, but there's no
Yeah. Well, I
problem to
can
it. That's
hear,
great.
but
Like that
but I
works with
can hear,
everything.
but I can hear people on the other end of this video watching this recording or watching us live saying, yeah, but it's not that easy most of the time. Right.
Right.
And in reality, everything we want, it's always just one vibrational shift away. Always.
Okay.
Because your reality has to match your vibration. Some people, it could be a little tweak of shifting out of absence into overflow, right?
Mm,
For other people, it could be, decades of feeling unworthy because of the way their parents treated them.
right.
So everybody's vibration is unique to what they have going on in their mind. And of course, no two people have the same things going on in their mind, identical.
So for you, is that why is pain like probably one of the hardest things to release then?
Physical pain or emotional
Yeah,
pain?
physical pain. I guess to me maybe it would be well, let's say it is physical because it is there, right? It is. Whereas, like,
Yeah,
if
that's
there's no money in the bank account, I could still, it can work out. It can still work out. Physical pain is just this nagging.
yeah.
It's
So, my belief is that physical pain is still being co-created with source.
okay.
So if that physical pain is relevant to you in some way, then it will stay there until you from a perspective of expansion, once you get what you're supposed to get out of that pain or that condition, that's when it shifts and goes away, because source isn't going to help you experience discomfort if there's no purpose behind it.
Okay. It's
So
it's
like,
saying it's guiding you essentially is what you're saying.
yeah, of course. So if
Okay.
I'm source and I'm like, okay, Nick Caldwell, he's putting too much pressure on himself and I'm sending all these synchronicities and he's not listening. How do we get him to really, really give him something he can't ignore? Okay, let's give him a bunch of chronic migraines,
Sure.
right? Sure. And I just say migraines because a lot of people I've helped with chronic migraines, it was because they would describe it as too much pressure in their head. And then the clearing work was around clearing the pressure. And then so you get the migraines, and then you're smart enough to be self-reflective and tied two and two together. And then once you have your expansive shift that physical symptom is meant to help you heal, then the physical healing can take place.
Okay.
Disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. This is just my perception on reality based on the work I've done with clients.
Do you ever get sued?
No.
Okay, good. Look at all these comments. Okay, this is my case. This is my case with money, but for example, I know I can thrive without food. So I can't, so edgy, but not comfortable if you want another control of potential. Quality of potential. Yeah, I'm trying to figure. My brain is not figuring this out.
Go to the next backyard Buddhist
All right.
comment talking about discipline.
I think she said more after that, or Mystic Vibe said more. Okay.
So read this one.
Yeah. Is discipline, aka forcing yourself to take action every day. See, I love this. Regardless of whether you're feeling it or not, useful in the new paradigm when it comes to making more money. I think this is great.
I would say new paradigm. You're not concerned with making money. You're concerned with feeling good and following your highest excitement, with the understanding that the money you need will show up to support you.
So is there any case to be said for addressing that, or do you just like quickly like shift away from that? Because there is, I mean, people are driven to the thing. They do want the trick.
But what I like about this comment or this question from, I think this is Dante, is the word discipline.
Okay.
The word, and we talked about this in a channeling a couple of days ago. I sent you the recording for. I don't know if you listened to it or not.
I haven't listened yet. I'm today, but yeah.
And well, the School of Expansion mastery group, you guys have access to that recording. I think you guys listened to it yesterday. But discipline, I don't like the word discipline. And Source and I talked about the word discipline. Discipline kind of implies effort, right? Yes. And a word that Anik uses that's brilliant is devotion.
Okay.
Devotion feels lighter. And the way Source kind of explained it, they said, yeah, discipline is effort. It's not the best approach to reality. With devotion, and the way they explained the approach to devotion, I think we're actually going to talk about this in the School of Expansion call tomorrow, is, and the way they explained, they told me to do it, was by asking myself, what decision, the statement, what would Jesus do?
Yes.
So it's, what would my highest self do?
Okay.
So if I'm about to cook dinner and I've got like, an option of pizza and beer, and then I got another option of really nice Greek salad, the human Nick might want to go for the pizza and beer because it tastes delicious. But when I check in with the higher version of me, my highest timeline self, it's like it makes the choice of the delicious salad more delicious.
Okay.
And it takes out the effort. It takes out the effort or the discipline vibration.
Yeah, I think that definitely for me, as the day goes on, like you get to the last 2 or 3 hours of the day, like that devotion is gone. Suddenly it's a devotion for, I want to eat everything in the house. Like there's the hungry ghost is very hungry. It wants to go.
Yeah. And I don't see that as a bad thing either. So sometimes that's what you need. And sometimes your highest timeline self is on board with that.
Okay. Yes. Then I feel like crap the day. Okay. So let's say that is, I guess the question then is if you just keep playing that part, right? If you're essentially playing a role, right? If you're what would my highest self want? And then you step into that role, I suppose then you could just, it still is discipline or devotion, like you say, but like I could avoid eating all that junk food in the end of the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also nothing wrong with eating it all. It goes back to what I said earlier about reality being an exploration. Okay. So it's in this reality and in this exploration, which version of me do I want to choose to be as I explore in this reality?
Like, so do you separate foresight? Like, do you separate this? Because in this immediate thing, I'm telling you, that pizza and beer is going to taste good.
Yeah, and sometimes I go
And
for the pizza.
sometimes you go for it.
Yeah, like after I got back from the disc golf tournament on the weekend, I was like out in the woods, like walking all day. I got home, I was exhausted. I didn't feel like cooking, and there was a delicious, like homemade pizza waiting for me with beer in the fridge. I was like, hell yeah, that's exactly what I want.
But you ate the whole pie? Did you eat the entire
Oh,
thing?
I know I ate half of it, and I made a giant Caesar salad to go with it.
Oh wow. Yeah, so sometimes it just evaporates for me, and I'm eating that entire pie and then ordering another one.
I can't say I haven't done that before. I've totally, but it depends. It also depends on the type of pizza, because like I can guarantee you that if you can eat like a whole 12-inch pizza from Pizza Hut or whatever,
Yeah.
you come here and you eat one of my homemade Neapolitan, like
Okay.
authentic Italian, uni cooked oven, like you cannot eat a whole 12-inch of that. Or if you
Okay.
do, you are stuffed afterwards.
Right. Because it's a thicker.
It's different. It's not meant like it's real ingredients. So what I find is that what I've noticed with food is that fake foods don't fill me up, but
Sure.
foods that have real ingredients, even if it's pizza, are much more filling.
I want to do some of this. Okay. Mystic vibe. I had an experience when I found money on the street. Once even, homeless man gave me money saying that he don't. My brain can't do that. He don't know it can be false banknote.
So I think she's saying she was trying to give a homeless person money and he gave it back.
Ah. So want to feel good in the body, free in the mind. Okay, so that's what she's saying is, I'm assuming it's but the three thing. See, now that's interesting, right? So these are just emotions. You want to feel free. You want these emotions. But to me, that just comes and goes. Like I don't even put second thought into that.
Yeah, because that's that, it's automatic, because at our deepest level, that's what we want.
So is that autopilot, like for me, or in my case, like that just happens? This stuff happens. Money does. I mean, yes, sure, money can just happen too, but like it's not like just pouring in. But an emotion will, a thought will.
But emotions don't just happen. Emotions are a byproduct of our conscious and unconscious thoughts. So
how come I wake up and I have a song in my head? Tell me this one.
I'd say I call that a download from source.
Okay.
Right? Because when we're sleeping, our subconscious mind is still doing stuff. Our connection to source is still active.
But not a byproduct. So can't that emotion still be that same thing?
Emotions are always a response to something.
Okay.
Right? So it's like Abraham-Hicks says, emotions are your indicator. Well, they're indicator of what? They're an indicator of what you're practicing.
Okay.
There can't be an emotion without something that generates it or fuels it. That typically being the thoughts you think, whether you're consciously aware of them or not.
So, and for anyone else, I'm curious what they want to manifest. Maybe there's not. Maybe this is everyone else wants to stay quiet, but I am fascinated.
But
it probably does the same thing. It's probably the same. I mean, is there anything that doesn't work with? It works with everything.
The law of attraction is a law.
Yeah. I think that this goes kind of beyond. I mean, it definitely does. It goes beyond what Abraham talks about. Like, whereas she'll have like processes, this is a universal.
It's because she keeps it general. Right?
Okay.
Like, and that's why when we start off with the belief tree process, anytime anybody has a negative emotion, you ask the question, I feel that way because, or what must I believe is true to feel that way? Right. And then like, if you're grounded out of your mind, an answer almost always comes up.
Okay. Does the action follow right after that? Or see, sometimes I like to just plan. And that's, yeah. And that's never action. It's just planning. And so I trick myself.
Planning's not a bad thing. Planning can be exciting. So like with this sauna,
Right.
So I researched the crap out of it because I was excited to figure out what is my best path to having a sauna in my yard. And eventually I realized it was building it myself, right?
Okay.
And then I ordered some sauna plans from some dude in Finland who sells home sauna plans, right? And then there's where am I going to get the wood from? How am I going to get this built? What do I need to do next? So that's planning, but it's still fun and excitement.
So what do you? Is it a tower or is it the barrel? Did you build a
It's eight
barrel?
by it's 8 by 12, and the
So it's
barrels.
okay.
So here's what I learned is that the barrels, which are kind of more of a common thing here. So
Mm.
Finland is known as like the national country of sauna. They have more saunas than cars in Finland.
Mhm.
And what I learned through Reddit and all these different research portals is that barrel saunas are actually not very good.
Oh, okay.
And the reason for that is one, they're typically not insulated. And two, in a sauna, you want to have like an even heat distribution
Mm.
so that your whole body's at the same temperature. And you can only achieve that typically if your feet, you want the bottom of your feet to be at the top of the sauna heater. And when you're sitting in a barrel sauna, then like your feet are kind of like ground level. So you need something that's higher up.
Okay. So like, how long is it going to take you to build it? I didn't know you could build all these things.
Um, I'm guessing it'll be done in like 6 weeks. The biggest challenge is like finding an electrician, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
I've tried to contact 5 people, and so far the soonest somebody can come is January 2024.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's a big housing crisis here and shortage of laborers and a whole bunch of stuff.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I'm not gonna political stuff.
It is. Oh, that's fascinating.
Probably it's in the news a lot. But I don't get into that. I just kind of let it be. And I know that the perfect electrician will show up at the perfect time.
That's right. Yeah. It's my wife.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Is there a fast strategy or question to ask yourself to get clear, undeniable answer of what one highest self wants? I like that.
I already
Sometimes
know the
multiple
answer.
answers. No,
Your
go ahead.
higher self just wants you to feel good.
Okay. So I think for her, she has like different things pulling. There's 3 kids pulling her. There's one me pulling her different direction.
Yeah.
There's what she wants.
Yeah.
I know she's got a few different, like she's got 2 different ventures going right now. I think that's the thing. It's like, which one is more, but maybe you can go between the 2 of them, huh?
Oh, yeah. So it reminds me of like something I like to explain with business people is a business person might have like 4 different business opportunities, 4
Okay.
different doors, and then they're stuck having to choose one. And they're trying to figure out which one's going to be more odds of higher success, which one's going to make me more money, which one's going to make me happier. And what I remind people is doesn't matter which one you choose because the end result is still going to be the same. The end result is going to be whatever vibration you're practicing.
But
Right?
is
And
the
when
importance to choose?
if it's exciting, it's
Okay.
like Abe says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Okay.
Right? So if I can feel out kind of the answer that she's looking for, I think it's about understanding that you can't get it wrong.
Okay.
Right. And I think when I hear a similar question like that, often it's people who put pressure on themselves to try to like keep everybody pleased and do the right thing and or not screw up or anything along those lines. But the answer is always the answer to what to do next always lies in the now moment.
Okay.
And the path you want to take in all of your available options, like we said earlier, is whichever one is of highest excitement or feels best.
So if you go down that path and then you get stuck a little because I mean, maybe there's skills you don't know yet. And so does that like, is that ever an indication that you like barrel forward or you pull back or like, I guess, how do you know? You're just sensing that you're intuitive about that.
Yeah, it's like as long as something keeps feeling good, I keep moving forward. And then if it starts to stagnate or feel off, I step back. And then when I get the impulse to come back to it, I come back to it. It's like when I wrote my first book, I gave the manuscript to the editor. She sent it back with some edits to do. And I sat on it for like 8 months. I could not pull myself to come back and just go through the edits and finish it off. And in that time, Wayne Dyer passed away. I reflected a lot about his writings and like how he wrote and his books. And when I came back to the edits, it's like I came back with this fresh new perspective, which added a whole lot to the book. I integrated a bunch of stories, and I feel like it really leveled up from the original manuscript.
Right.
So that 8-month pause was necessary. And I know it's Source that created that pause, because no matter how much I wanted to try to effort myself to go back, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. That feels really relatable. Fun and generous initiative to do this channel. All right.
Good. I'm glad you're having fun.
Maybe it comes down to what Bashar says: circumstances don't matter, only my state of being.
Yeah, and that's my way of saying it all comes down to the vibration you're practicing, right? Because it's your state of being that defines your vibration. And your
like
vibration,
in any given moment.
Yeah, totally.
So you get a phone call and it's bad news. So do you just like hesitate for a bit? Or I guess things can still feel good even in that bad news. Like the side swiping of things feels real to me.
For me, it's not like bad news. Like I no longer judge as good or bad. It's just,
okay,
oh, this is happening.
This is happening.
Right. So it's like, and I know people are like, well, yeah, that's the same thing. But to me, it's different. It's like, oh, okay, contrasts. Time for growth, time for expansion, time for more. It's like I have so much faith in the evolution and what comes forth through, bad things, that now things are no longer labeled as bad. They might be undesired, but I still don't see them as bad.
You ever smash stuff? Do you ever smash things? You get really pissed?
Not purposefully, not lately anyways.
That'd be great. Like if you just had a room where you're just smashing stuff because it didn't work out today.
Yeah, they have smash rooms here. You can like book and go smash a bunch of things. So maybe if we ever create another retreat or a physical gather, we'll create a smash room, or we'll do an afternoon trip to a smash room and everybody can smash things.
I'm thinking that what you're saying is you never have to feel those ways. I think it's fascinating. It's like, yeah, there's this level that you're way up here at this level. And so it's like I was talking to my wife about it, and it's like, oh, like I should be way up there too. And I suppose you can be instantly.
But who says you aren't?
Right. Well, and also maybe part of it is that bridge to get there, right? Like maybe my silly little questions are important for people to.
What if perceiving that there is a bridge is the only bridge?
Okay.
Like what if perceiving that there's a gap is the only thing that's putting that gap there?
Okay. I mean, yes, you're right. Yeah. Because it's easy to go back to the money, right? You're saying, well, where's the money? Where's the money? That could be the case, right?
But that's how you want to measure success.
Sure. Right. Okay.
If I could make 100,000.
Your microphone went out. Yeah, it went out. Source telling you to stop. I still can't hear you. Nope.
How about now?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's a weird driver thing that I have not been able to figure out with my audio.
Does it happen on your other calls?
Happens on Zoom. This is the first time it's happened on StreamYard.
I wonder what that is. See,
yeah,
that's a lightning bolt.
And all I do is shift the audio settings to select a different microphone and come back, and then it starts working again. So I don't know.
Okay.
What was I saying? I forget what I was talking about.
I don't know. Not just entirely. I think that was they were trying to stop that. Yeah. Don't go there.
Cliffhanger.
have a sister who had stroke last week. First and second day looked very worrisome. Well, all shifted our mind, and she's doing great. That's wonderful to hear.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Just, yeah, and it was like the idea that maybe she would have to step up and change her whole life. This is what I felt like from last week. Like it felt worrisome in that way. And so maybe when she shifted her perspective of that, you know, the actual circumstance may or may not change, but if you change how you respond to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, how you respond from an action is almost, everything has to start with vibration. If you're at the vibration of failure, it doesn't matter what action you take, end result's still going to be failure.
Yeah.
Two people can take the exact same actions and have drastically different results.
Okay.
And the reason for that is nothing outside of vibration.
Can you ignore? Well, I suppose you can ignore vibration. Could you just stay in a drifting pattern? Does that happen, or will source just keep blasting you away with okay, now you're gonna have to eventually?
I think when Anik channels, they call it seasons.
Okay.
So there's seasons of being in the receptive mode. There's seasons of micro focus on the internal. There's seasons of macro focus on the external. So for me right now, the last year and a half, I'm up until maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, was a very micro, internal, very little happening external reality. Even if I would try, it was like no matter what I would try to do, it was like brick wall. So it's almost like source like, no, Nick, this is not a time for you to be actioning or doing things externally. And now in the last 4 weeks, I've had more projects.
Right.
There's the 2 YouTube channels, there's the sauna. We just launched School of Expansion, the mastery group. I've had more stuff flooding in than I ever have before.
Right? Do you think it's a way of them saying what can you handle? Let's find out what you can handle. It's almost like a test.
No, I think it's just I think we do all come into physical reality with certain intent and a certain path that we're meant to walk.
Okay.
And source is part of that co-creation. So source knows best. We're co-creating with source. So they kind of guide us through those ebbs and flows.
Okay. So when seasons, do you feel like the seasons are like a lengthy thing, or can your season last 6 hours? Oh, it was a time of...
It could be either or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our job to flow down our path of least resistance most gracefully is pure allowance, pure acceptance.
Okay. What if you get this is happening experience after the fact you realize I didn't choose alignment with myself? How does the universe respond?
Yeah. What if let me read that again to really make sure that's sinking in properly. Yeah. What if you get
this is happening,
and after the fact you realize I didn't choose in alignment with myself? I mean, the universe just keeps responding based on whatever you're practicing, right? So I think in this case or in this scenario, it's about not being hard on yourself. So it's about understanding, okay, I made a choice that maybe I now regret, or I made a choice that was out of alignment. And now that awareness that I made the choice out of alignment will allow me to make a different choice next time the same opportunity presents itself.
Right.
And that in itself is expansion. That's growth.
Right. So, and again, you can't mess it up, right? You can't get it wrong.
No, not from source's vantage point.
Right. Listen, that's 50 minutes. What else did you have? Did you have any?
I want to hear about Vegas. So you're leaving for Vegas tomorrow.
Yeah, it's weird. I was maybe not trying to think about that.
Oh, so you don't want
No. It's just like I don't know why. I've done 1,000 plane trips, but there is an anticipation of that, and I don't know. Maybe it is an excitement too, but.
But are you staying with family? Or are you staying in a hotel?
Yeah. I'm more excited. No. There's just the plane flight, the ride there is somehow making me a little nervous this time around. always, I guess. But
Yeah, you'll be fine.
well, of course.
So no casinos in the vicinity then, no slot machines. I know you're not a
I don't
gambler.
gamble. Yeah, I'm frugal. I know what the last time we went there, we threw in a couple bucks and I won like $300. And it was like, okay, we're good. I won. I won. I had to step away.
And when's the last time you had put money in the machine before that?
10 years. 10 years. No, more than that, 15 years.
And
So I
okay,
went
so-
down for my 21st birthday, I'd gone.
Okay.
And
So
that
would
was
you
for the last
agree?
time.
Would you agree that you are vibrationally drastically different than you were 15 years ago?
Oh yeah.
And the last time you played, you won like $300.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be exciting to see, hey, maybe this vibration is still going on? Maybe you're just
No.
at the winning vibration now. No. Okay, we'll rule it out.
Why, you wanted me to throw in money? Throw in
Yeah,
10 bucks?
I was gonna send you $10 and tell you to put it in for me. I'll wait and do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll send you $10 and you'll throw it in a sauna. That's what I would want.
Maybe
I'm
we
more
should
interested in
arrange
that.
it. Maybe we should arrange a School of Expansion meetup in Vegas. That could be interesting.
That's where everyone goes.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Vegas.
That would
person.
be crazy if you try to like that would be the most. Okay, we're gonna manifest. Of course, everyone's thinking about winning there,
and we could. And
that's
even
really a
beforehand,
test.
what we would do beforehand is I'd run a subconscious alchemy program on everybody to like implant the vibration of like big winner.
See, that's real stuff. See, we should just do that. We should do a week where it's just like, because
Well,
I loved your challenges back in the day. You always have these challenges.
Yeah, we did like 2.5 or 2.6 million in like 8 weeks.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got casinos in the Caribbean, so we just got to pick a resort in the Caribbean where we can have a week-long retreat, and like one night we'll do a whole bunch of money manifesting subconscious alchemy stuff, and then we can all go to the casino and see what happens.
Is that your next thing? You'll go to the Caribbean?
I don't know. I'm more drawn to the Caribbean. I'm totally done with the Abe stuff. Caribbean sounds fun because it's just 2 plane hops away, compared to going to Europe, which took us 24 hours of travel time each way.
Did?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Why? Because you had to like fly down to New York or something, or?
So we have to go from here to Toronto, which is a 3-hour flight. And then we have like a 7 or 8 hour layover. Then the flights typically have a 2 or 3 hour delay because of mechanical issues. Then over the ocean, like it's a long ass journey.
Yeah, no. My flight's 3 hours, and I don't even want that. 24 hours.
Oh yeah, because of where we live, we don't have much of a choice other than to fly with one airline, and they're awful. All their planes are like old and like full of mechanical issues. The last flight I was on with them, we sat on the tarmac for 3 hours, and we heard the pilot talking to the mechanic, and it was something about brakes. And the guy across from me in the aisle got up and walked off the plane.
Of course. Of course. That's a good enough sign. Get out of there.
But flying always goes smooth. Once takeoff happens, everything is perfect. And I know it's going to be perfect for you tomorrow too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not worried. It's just like, there is an anticipation there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's something I'm not used to. So even if, the event of it.
Yeah.
I got all my movies. I'm ready to go.
Cool.
All right.
What else can we talk about? Let's go for another 10 minutes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Anybody in the chat window have anything they want to share, or say, or want us to look at?
And I was bad about I didn't look at comments from last week. I didn't look comments on the other, but maybe people write in, or I don't know how that would ever work.
Yeah, we'll
or think into your newsletter. We can field a few questions, but I imagine this is just going to keep growing, especially you're going to send it out to.
Yeah, I'll send it to my mailing list. I should have sent this one to the mailing list. I forgot. I was too busy this morning doing.
That's all right. They'll catch up. They'll watch. I'll repost this right away.
Yeah. Cool.
But so, would you be interested in a money challenge thing ever again, or?
I don't know. Money feels so overdone in old paradigm now. I'd rather teach people and help people tune into like overflow of all things. Right?
Like too much of things. Overflow is what you're saying.
Just overflow.
Word.
Because when you're tapped into overflow, you got everything you need.
Yeah, well, an abundance of more than, I would say overflow is spilling out, right?
Yeah. This
I
doesn't
like
sound
that phrase. Yeah,
it's
that's great.
delicious.
That's great. Like, yeah. Okay, so no challenges ever again, you would say.
I don't know. If the impulse arises, then we run with it. But for now, it's just, what's the next delicious thing that's presenting itself to me in my now moment.
How about this? Is there clean diet available for us to see?
You'd have to ask Nick for that. Send her a message or just ask on the live calls in the School of Expansion.
Is it vegan or is it like a certain, or like you said, Mediterranean last time,
like,
right?
I do Mediterranean-ish. Hers is more fruit and like it changes. Like it's part intuitive, it's part like fruit based, where I think she only eats fruit for the first part of the day. But she also intermittent does intermittent fasting. So I don't try to keep up with her.
Well, it's fascinating that you get headaches from that. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, it's just if I get up in the morning and I don't eat something right away, within a couple of hours I'll get a headache. It's got something to do with sugar imbalance, I'm pretty sure. When I had an epigenetics test done, which is like they check your DNA and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I've got some kind of fructose intolerance in my DNA.
Do you check your like glucose levels at all, or you don't? No. Okay. Yeah. My mom's got that. She's got a thing on her arm, right? She's diabetic. And so it's like everything is like, and so that's the best to check your emotions, because it's like, oh, you can see her acting a little off. And then you just check the chart. And it's like, oh, her blood sugar's low. Like it matters so much that it's the best.
Yeah.
I need a pod. I just smash one.
But I mean, everybody has that, right? You know your level of resistance based on how much tension you've got going on, right? The more relaxed, the more loose and relaxed you're in your body, the more you're in the receptive mode.
I'd be surprised how many people tap into that, though.
People don't,
especially stress, like they're worried about external things, right? They're not like necessarily like looking within.
Like right now, for those of you who are tuning in, like just check in with yourself. Are you like check in with your body? Is your body tense at all? Right? Most people's body is tight and tense. They don't even realize it.
Right. And so with that, you would just ground and do a quick breathing technique or something, or
and then kind of scan for like, why is it that I'm tense? Why am I walking on eggshells because my boss is here today? What is it that's preventing me from relaxing?
Okay. Can you just like, and then you just reframe it in your mind? Is that what you would do?
Yeah. So like for me, one of my favorite states of being is the way it feels when you're in the Caribbean, laying on a beach, drinking a mojito.
Sure.
To me, like that's the ultimate, like totally chill and relaxed. Well, that's just a state of being. Everybody has access to that right now.
And so you just place yourself in that.
Yeah.
How often do you do that a day?
Not often anymore. When I think about it, sometimes I'll check, but
or if you need to.
Yeah.
Okay. My son has a high school admission exam next week and is super stressed. Any wise words? What would you say to that?
I would say to just, I don't know, allow. Have
Is
fun.
there an age? Do you feel like there's an age when you're like receptive to this sort of thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's probably not best to teach my 9-year-old.
No, I would say no, because my son is super receptive. He loves hearing stuff. He's been on some of the collective calls last year, and he's only 11. Or he's 12 now. And my daughter doesn't want to have anything to do with this stuff. So I don't think it's an age thing. It's more of a personality thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if yeah, you're probably right. Because there wasn't like a shift, I don't think. I probably would have been receptive at 11 too.
Yeah,
So,
I think it just, depends on your path and your journey and what you can. Some people, this isn't on their path at all, right? Some people aren't here
oh,
for expansion. Some people are here for, for different types of experiences.
that's interesting. So it's like
I
a
mean, sorry,
chosen few.
let me reframe that. Everybody's here for expansion, but not everybody's here for conscious expansion.
Okay. So in the case of the son, advice, it would just be like if the son's actually looking for it, not the parent type
Yeah,
thing,
good.
because you're not going to be able to hammer that in.
No, and people can only be receptive for as much as they allow themselves to be receptive for.
So what do you do with your daughter if you know she's not receptive? You just don't
Let her
don't
let her have
practice this.
her path,
Gotcha.
right?
That's cool.
Choosing contrast is also a valid experience.
Right.
It's hard to watch as a parent when one of your kids chooses contrast as the path, but again, it's still a valid path for them to choose, and all we can do is love them and support them the most they allow us to.
See, now this feels like where you would smash stuff.
Well, if it
You're
gets
so
if it gets
profound. You're so profound, but I bet in the heat of things, it gets a little wild. Maybe not.
yeah, that you'd have to ask Nick and see what she says.
Oh, okay. How about if something irritates you, is it always for you? And simply allowing it to result in the answer you need.
So things don't irritate us. It's our perspectives about those things that create the irritation.
I'd be curious, like what specifically she's saying. Maybe her son or something, or traffic, right?
Yeah. So if something is irritating you, that it's there to show you that you're giving your power away in some way.
So let's say it was traffic.
Yeah.
It's the same thing every day. Do you like adjust? You would leave a little earlier to relieve tension, or you would be more mindful. I'm curious what you would do. I
Leaving
suppose you're not
early.
having a thing irritate you though, but like let's say it was.
But if you do something to correct it from an action vantage point and don't correct the vibration, it's just going to show up again in a different way.
Even if you leave earlier.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So she says what's irritating her is her dog pulling her when she's walking. Great example.
Yes.
So do you think the irritation is a sign that you're being resistant or allowing?
Right. And so you just let the dog pull?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't resist. You can't be in resistance and allow this. You can't be in resistance and allow the solution to come in at the same time.
Right. Yeah, like what is the purpose of the walk, right? It's like there's your co-creation too. You're both going on the same walk.
Yeah, maybe the dog is equally as irritated because she's walking too slow.
Right.
So who's in the right and who's in the wrong, right?
So you just got to keep walking faster, I think.
More valid,
Right.
right?
Okay. Well, that's all for me.
Awesome.
I'm tapped.
So same time next Wednesday?
Yeah. Do you want to do Wednesday again?
Yeah, let's
I think so.
Wednesday. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'll be here. And I'm looking forward to listening to that thing and animating all that. The calls.
Yeah.
What were the two calls? One was money and what was the other one?
We've got some channel recordings that we did this week. One was money and the other one was living as your highest timeline.
Oh, okay. What do you mean by that? Give me a synopsis.
So in a previous channeling, they told me that of my 7 bodies, we've got, our mental, physical, emotional, energetic. We got 7 bodies that line up with our 7 chakras. They told me it was my physical body that was lagging behind the other ones. And I said, okay, so, if I want to, level myself up, is it about still addressing my physical body? Has that caught up? Should I be meditating every day? What advice or guidance would you have for me if I want to live more of my highest timeline?
Okay.
Or my highest timeline version of me. And the answer to that is what we're going to be talking about in School of Expansion tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, that's exciting. What time's that?
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, right.
Those are at 3:00 Eastern every Wednesday.
We need to put a link so people could go see it, but I'll do all
Yeah,
that too.
if anybody here is not a School of Expansion member, and you want to be, just go to nickbreau.com and click School of Expansion.
Hey, this was great.
Yeah, it's super fun. I can't wait for next Wednesday, and I can't wait for all of these awesome people to show up and have some fun with us too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Look at all these comments. Thanks so much for this coffee co-creation.
Awesome. Keep sharing the love. Let's see how let's set an intention.
Okay.
We want to get 100 people on our live call with us. How soon do you think we can make that happen? Let's set an intention for 100 live attendees by end of the month. Do you think we can do it?
Yeah, end of October.
Can you guys out there in internet land help us out with that?
Yeah.
Maybe share the link in some Facebook groups or tell your friends.
Yeah, and if people have things that they want to talk about too, like, and they think about it throughout the week, I think just comment that and we'll go through that. You know, I'll repost this right now, and then totally. I think little things like that. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. That's easy. Well, 100.
Have a good trip and enjoy Vegas. And I won't ask you about Vegas because I've heard that whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, it's not that way for me. Going to a wedding. I'm going to watch The Godfather.
Is it? Wait. Is the wedding in one of these cheesy Vegas drive?
No. It's off. It's a few hours away. I'm flying into Vegas.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Have a good trip. All right. Bye, everybody.